start by thinking about how you want to make music, how you want to perform music, and then use the technology to support that and not the other way around.
I think people have so many dreams about performing around the world, but don't understand how much goes into it. And I know there's probably people listening that are like, I don't want to perform. I want to do what you did. I want to work on a show with someone like Ariana or Quinn or Justin Bieber or Martin Garrix or any of these top end people in the industry. How do you get into this? I mean, kind of briefly talked about it at the beginning, but I mean, is it kind of like just luck of the draw? You just got to teach yourself the skills or find someone in the industry that can teach you it? And because all these things behind the scenes are pretty technical and pretty, how do you design a whole show of lights? That's something, can you go to school for that?
I mean, it was part of my master's program, but the only reason it was is because I was interested in it and I took that on as some independent research that I did. I mean, I don't necessarily think that it's like you do this, you get this. It's not a one-to-one relationship between if you do something, this will happen for you. I mean, this industry isn't like that. It really does take a lot of initiative and drive and like creatively thinking outside the box. And if you have that kind of a mentality going into it and you're a person that's good at being social and you're able to, you know, be humble about what you have and what you do and what you can bring to the table, you know, you might be able to work with someone who you admire. And especially, you know, if you're a young person who is just starting to get into the industry, you know, get out there as much as you can, meet people, have great connections with them in meaningful ways. And at the end of the day, it's kind of like, you know, people want to know what you can do for them as much as, you know, want to know what they can do for you. So it can't be one-sided on either direction, because if you're working for someone and they're not really kind of reciprocating this type of an energy, then like anything, you know, it's a dead end. So you kind of have to think about that as an energy exchange.
Right.
There are like, you know, there are avenues to learn more about this, especially for the whole playback side of things. I mentioned once again, like Laura Escudé, she has that company, Electronic Creatives, and the one thing that she offers is this opportunity called Master Track. And Master Track is specifically geared towards teaching people how to use that technology to work with artists in that playback tech capacity. She also offers another course, Transmute, which is more geared towards helping artists facilitate their dreams using technology, which probably has crossover between those. You know, like some artists want to have a redundant computer system, you know, where you press one button, it syncs up two computers, and if one goes down, then you can switch over to the other one. You know, having 3 different computer setups, you know, the way that this music tech performance class at USC is going to go off in spring is going to be way different than it was last spring and the spring before it. And part of that is who's coming to the table, you know, what these people want, because it's a custom thing. It's not like this is how you do it. And that's the fun part about it, because it's a reciprocal relationship between the people that are approaching it. And what I really like to stress about that opportunity is it doesn't have to be, you know, I'm an electronic musician, I want to play a MIDI controller and control virtual synths. And I like to stress that, you know, if you are a guitar player and it's your dream to be a singer-songwriter, then that's cool. You don't have to become, you know, the stereotypical electronic musician to incorporate computers into it. You can do that in really awesome ways. And most of us...
Ed Sheeran. I think Ed Sheeran is a perfect example.
Yeah.
Using a looper, using all, even the Ableton looper, he brings the whole show together just by looping a bunch of things, which is amazing. And a lot of artists are now noticing that and seeing it's a great show. Tosh Totana, same thing with her.
It's crazy. Like some of those artists like are using the same technology, but it's not even obvious. You know, some people want to hide the technology. Some people want it to be, you know, the computer under the table where no one ever sees what's going on. But then other artists are completely embracing it, you know, and they've made that part of their performance. So, it just kind of reiterates that idea that everyone is going to have a different take on it, and how, in the forefront that technology is going to be determined by what your goals are and how you want to interface with it.
Right.
So, it's up to the person that's exploring that avenue. I think having some type of an idea about what you want to do is the first part to all of this. I actually wrote an article for Ask Audio magazine. If you do a search for Timo Preece and building a custom performance setup, something of that nature, it's an article that I believe kind of gets people at least brainstorming, and it's fun because most people want to approach doing this, building a performance setup, from the technology aspect. Like, okay, how do I take this tool and equal something that is going to be performative? And I kind of discourage that, because once again, you're looking at that tools perspective. You're not looking at the techniques perspective. Start by thinking about how you want to make music, how you want to perform music, and then use the technology to support that and not the other way around.